Okay, no hidden Monokumas. This is another manga. It's laying on top of the desk. This one is Manga for Morons, The Tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy. Huh? Wasn't The Tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy mentioned in that other manga too? It's why Hope's Peak Academy went bankrupt, and it was the trigger for the biggest, most tragic, most awful event in human history. If I read this manga, will I be able to learn a little more about that incident? Oh, is that Kyoko's dad? I took the manga from the desk and started flipping through the pages to see what I could learn about the event known as the Tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy. The story made heavy use of outdated, stylized drawings depicting characters solving mysteries. What's written here is, as the name suggests, the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy occurred at Hope's Peak Academy. The key player in that event was a student named Izuru Kamukura. Izuru Kamukura. Huh. Did I grab that one? I think I did, but just in case. Izuru was a genius known as a symbol of hope. Hope's Peak Academy used all their resources to develop him. Supposedly, Izuru was a genius among geniuses and possessed various talents, wielding superior talent for the hope of mankind. The Academy referred to Izuru as the ultimate hope. To protect such rare talent, the Academy completely concealed all evidence of Izuru's origins and identity. Because of that, most of the students at the Academy were completely unaware of Izuru's existence. But Izuru, who was known as the symbol of hope, was responsible for a horrible incident. 13 students of Hope's Peak Academy Student Council, among the Academy's best and brightest, were brutally murdered by Izuru. However, the incident did not end there. The Academy tried to protect Izuru's superior talent and concealed the incident as though it never happened. However, a certain student began working in secret to use that incident to their advantage. That student uncovered what the Academy did, and by making that knowledge public, it stoked the fires of reserve course students who had long been dissatisfied with how they'd been treated. And the uprising began. And that heralded Hope's Peak Academy's destruction. This is the entirety of the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy. Eventually, that incident would lead to that horrifying, devastating incident. The incident that would be known as the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. Works cited Danganronpa 0. Is that a light novel that just was never translated? Because I'm already doing that for Raincoat, I'm not doing that for this. With a heavy sigh, I close the manga. Am I supposed to believe this? There's no way 13 people were killed at Hope's Peak Academy. What irony! For a genius known as the Ultimate Hope to cause such a gruesome incident. A talent like that is too regal for society. It's like trying to buy juice with a bar of gold. You should be lucky that you're incompetent. Damn it, it always has to lead up to something offensive. It seriously pisses me off. But Ultimate Hope. Nagito mentioned that before too, but it looks like it means something completely different here. What Nagito said was the true meaning of hope, but for Izuru, it simply means talent. More importantly, a genius who possesses various talents. I wish they'd given me one of those talents so I didn't have to be in the reserve department. That's right, the reserve department! Here, it said that the reserve corps students in the reserve department began an uprising. Then, what about me? Was I a participant too? No, that's not possible. There's no way. I have no reason to do something like that. Tragedy of Hope's Peak added to the Truth Bullet section. Okay. Learned about... Sorry. Anyway, I've learned about the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy, but the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history is a far worse incident. Hey? What kind of incident was it? And who's this other student that isn't Izuru? A certain student who secretly used the incident to their advantage. Who is that? This incident is really messed up, but all it's doing is raising more questions. Mysteries just keep piling up. Okay. Right. So, where has opened up now? Oh, the biolab opened up. Oh, alright. What the hell is this room? It's freaking cold in here! It's like I'm in a freezer or something. Oh, if I just stand still, I might end up freezing to death. I should hurry up and investigate so I can get out of here already.
I've been found!
I've missed one in the first classroom, haven't I? Hey, the tarps. Remember those? Looks like a plastic tarp. Why is it left out like this? Clean up after yourselves, wouldn't it? Huh. I've seen this in movies before. It's a refrigerator for preserving dead bodies. At least, that's what it looks like. It's not possible, right? Keeping dead bodies in a high school biolab isn't something you should joke about. It just feels so forced. This idea should have been cancelled during development or something. Huh? What am I thinking? Hajime, stop becoming self-aware, it's getting weird. There's another manga just laying around here. This time the title is Manga for Morons. The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. I knew it. The next one would obviously be about this incident. biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history, huh? Just, what was that incident really all about? It turned out to be something lame. I flipped through the pages of the manga and hoped that I was right. What is going on with this person's face? It looks like around the eyes have been, like, carved into or something. Story about creepily drawn characters who get involved in such horrifying incidents. An incident known as the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. You know what? I was wrong to, drink last night. I should have saved it for this stream and just taken a shot every time they said this. I'd be loaded. Is this drawn so grotesquely because the incident itself is that grotesque? Anyway, the beginning of this creepy manga starts with this sentence. The tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy was simply the trigger. At first, the uprising by the Reserve Corps students that triggered the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy was initially hoped to be resolved quickly, but the situation continued to escalate to dangerous extremes. The movement started spreading all over the internet and fostered a thriving online community. The community was not limited to students, and people of various races and nations began joining in. But the movement was not confined to the internet. It began spreading and eroding the real world. When the movement started, it was indistinguishable from any other demonstration inspired by social unrest. But as it spread across the world, certain abnormalities soon came to light. By then, it was too late. The ends and the means had vanished, and wanton destruction became their only goal. The strong butchered the weak. The weak killed the weakest among them. And soon, the weak formed factions to brutally murder the strong. As the violence and death continued to spread, the shock of their actions began to disappear. As if the era was regressing to more uncivilized times, when senseless deaths were the norm. The media was oversaturated with deaths to the point where people would watch them while enjoying a meal. By the time the world realized what it had become, it was too late to stop what had happened. A feeling of immense despair began spreading and eventually engulfed the world. Acts of terrorism and coups d'etats began occurring around the world, a war waged in the name of despair. A war fought not for principles, religion, or personal gain. Just war. Pure war. And because of that, there was no way to resolve it. How could a movement started by high school students progress to such a hopeless scenario? The only explanation is the existence of a certain organization, devoted to a certain student who influenced Hope's Peak Academy. A group called Ultimate Despair. Instead of using Hope's Peak Academy's talents for the sake of mankind's hope, they used them for the sake of mankind's despair. Key members of society used their influence to brainwash the masses in order to spread despair. Tech-savvy computer programmers wrote software to spread despair. Twitter. What? Powerful and influential created new values and morals to spread despair. And with this, they created the tragedy. The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. As long as ultimate despair exists, the despair engulfing the world will never end. The tragedy will never end. heart was racing in my chest, but my body felt ice cold. And it wasn't because I was freezing in this room. The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. This is definitely all made up. I mean, if this is really true, then what's happening in the outside world? My family, my friends, the convenience store I frequent, the nearby bookstore, my favorite restaurant? What's happened to them?
No way!
Hey, are you seriously yelling at a manga? How crazy are you? Who would enjoy reading something like this?
What?
Oh my, you don't like manga? A high school student who doesn't like manga is like an office lady who doesn't like to eat candy. Enough. What is this messed up manga? I thought you'd obviously know about such a horrible event that destroyed the world, but for you not to remember that, such despair. That's the Future Foundation's fault, though, thanks to them stealing your school memories. The incident that happened during that period has been completely removed from your brains. This incident really happened? I actually forgot about it? There's no way that's possible.
What are you saying?
How many times do I have to tell you? All the clues here are real.
Hello.
Please understand. I'm rooting for you. Okay, Iwata. R.I.P. If you don't learn about the full extent of the outside world, you guys will suffer for it. I just want to help you guys so you can live well-adjusted lives in the outside world. I see. So that's how it is. That's what he meant by what he said at the beginning. Well, as headmaster, I'm conflicted, you know. On one hand, I'm really happy that you're finally going to graduate. But on the other hand, I'm worried about whether you guys will be okay in the outside world. That's why I'm thinking about telling you what the outside world is like before you make a decision. Whether you want to leave Jabberwock Island or stay here. He's trying to make us feel despair toward the outside world, so we'll want to stay on the island. But there's no way I'm going to do what he wants. Despair like that simply can't exist. The outside world should be filled with hope. Just like now. Perhaps? No, that's definitely it. Okay. Whether or not this incident really happened, what in the world is this ultimate despair group? If they're devoted to a certain student who guided Hope's Peak Academy to its destruction, are they connected to both the tragedy and the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy? Plus, that organization isn't just one person, but a group of people. But if they're known as Ultimate Despair, they're high school students, right? Well, if they were actually able to do it, then I guess that's why they were called Ultimates. Then, are the killings we're involved in connected to them as well? It's no use. I'm gonna freeze to death. I'm at my limit. I need to get out of here. Shivering, I ran out of the freezing room. Oh, that was close. I nearly froze to death. So, where should I go next? Yeah. What's open now? Nope. Oh, 5B is now open. Okay. No, I should ignore it. I'm just gonna pretend I didn't see him. Anything in here? Hiding in the rafters? Oh, fine.
Hiya!
Why, hello, Hajime! Hope you're doing pleasingly well.
Poom, poom.
Are you pleasingly well? You're pleasingly well, right? What are you doing here?
No, no.
Wow, there was another thing I needed to tell you on this floor. I got bored of drawing manga. Can you forgive me for telling you by word of mouth? You should have done that from the beginning. I didn't want to read your manga in the first place. A high school student who doesn't like manga is like a sumo wrestler who doesn't like eating hot pots. I'm getting really fed up with your babbling. Hurry up. What did you need to tell me? It's about that key piece of information you've been waiting so long for.
What?
Surprise! It's about ultimate despair. Huh?
Hmm.
Even though the term ultimate despair refers to a group these days,
Actually,
it was originally the title for a high school girl who was the most powerful, evil, and feared person alive. A high school girl?
yes indeed.
Lady Junko Enoshima. Oh, here we go. Junko Enoshima.
Hey,
As the former ultimate despair, she created a despair brimming with charm and humor, and created the ultimate despairs. There was one really horrible person in that group.
don't fuck with me.
Oh, hold on a sec. I don't know what the ultimate despairs are, but it's not that easy to form an organization. There's no way people would join some fucked up organization created by a high school girl.
Unbelievable.
Humans who are obsessed with their philosophy have an uncanny power to attract others. What? It's a trait shared by many famous leaders throughout history, right? There's nothing strange about it.
Hey,
That holds true for Lady Junko. With her charismatic ability to attract others, she even influenced those in the highest echelons of power.
Phew.
Her connections were the main reason that Take two. Her connections were the main reason that incident became the tragedy in the first place. So she even recruited people who would have been in a position to neutralize the threat?
Huh?
Then, what was their purpose?
Huh?
What? Like I said, why did they cause that incident? It doesn't even make sense. They had a purpose, right? There's no way they'd do what they did without purpose.
Hey,
It was Junko Enoshima's despair. What? For Junko Enoshima, despair isn't about purpose, a set of principles, a way of life, or an instinct. No. Despair is what defines. Despair is what defines Junko Enoshima as Junko Enoshima. What are you saying? I'm a stuffed plushie. Hajime is a human. It's exactly like that. Junko Enoshima is full of so much despair that she's truly hopeless. Lying, dying, eating, loving. For her, everything is despair. What the hell? With her overwhelming force of personality, Junko recruited the ultimate despairs one by one. She controlled their despair by taking advantage of their love, hate, grudges, anything really. Junko's despair is far more dreadful than any other. That idea had been slammed right into their minds. And so, the ultimate despairs, who had been recruited, became nothing more than Junko's limbs. All despair, whether it was their own or anyone else's, was dedicated to Junko Enoshima. Like believers making offerings to their god. Like a mother providing food to her children. They dedicated all despair so they could escape from despair. All in Junko Enoshima's name. For example, they killed their families and friends, and even destroyed their bodies through relentless mutilation. And to hopelessly top it off, they completely believed it was something that they had to do. There's no way something that crazy is possible.
What?
Do you know about the final days of the Reserve Corps students during the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy? Final days?
In other words,
Junko has the power to change people's values. This is also true of famous people throughout history. Hey, what do you mean final days? What happened to the Reserve Department?
of course.
They fulfilled their role as disposable limbs. They believed in what they needed to do. So, the 2,357 students of the Reserve Department all committed mass suicide! Suicide?
What'd you say?
All 2,357 students? Oops! It wasn't all of them. One person was excluded. One person was excluded. Huh? Is that me?
Damn it.
Yeah, I don't believe it. There's no way I can believe this. Ultimate despair. Junko Enoshima. It doesn't scare me at all, I mean.
Bastard!
Junko Enoshima is already dead. Huh? No. Ultimate despair has been added to the truth bullet section of the handbook. Reserve Department has been updated in your handbook. Well, that's... Oh, God. That's... Well... I couldn't just leave her alone, no? Hey, Hiko, is it true what you said? Junko Enoshima is really dead?
Huh?
Why, you didn't say? There was a book called Manga for Morons Killing School Life in that bloody classroom. Bloody classroom? No, wait, what was that you said about the killing school life? Like the killings we were involved in. They were killings that happened at Hope's Peak Academy. As I recall, the mastermind took her own life because the remaining students worked together to defeat her.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. The killing school life ended up failing in the end. As a result, the 6 students who survived managed to escape from the academy.
Hey,
For a manga about the killing school life, it was drawn with a lot of shilly images and dumb gags. According to that, the mastermind behind the failed killing school life was Junko Enoshima. The mastermind took her own life? Which means Junko Enoshima is dead.
like...
It turns out that killing school life was part of the whole biggest, most awful whatever incident, where Junko took away the memories of the former students of Hope's Peak Academy and forced them to kill each other. Former students of Hope's Peak Academy? And she took away their memories? That's just like us. Apparently, the whole thing was being filmed by surveillance cameras and broadcast worldwide. There's a limit to being a cruel asshole. Surveillance cameras were broadcasting the whole thing?
So,
The students of Hope's Peak Academy are widely known as symbols of hope. By forcing people to watch these symbols of hope kill each other for the sake of survival, they were trying to fill everyone who watched the broadcast with despair all at once. Wah. That's messed up. Wah, but that messed up plan was stopped. Junko Enoshima failed. Junko lost to the student she placed in her trap after being overcome by the despair she created. She took her own life. Then Junko is no more. Oh, they're bringing her back. They're bringing her back. And what better way to do it than to be like, haha, suckers, you're all in a VR game. Or, God, they're gonna bring her back like she's some alter ego shit. Oh, I hate this. I hate this. No matter how horrible she was, there's no reason to fear someone who's dead. Whether Monokuma's story is true or not doesn't matter.
bastard!
Junko Enoshima isn't alive anymore. Then, who is our enemy? If Junko Enoshima is already dead, are the rest of the Ultimate Despairs behind this? Are the followers of Junko carrying out her will? The only thing I can think of. I mean, the killings we're involved in resemble that killing school life. Well, I don't know who the hell is imitating Junko and making us go through this, but an imitation is just that, an imitation.
No shit!
If the students from Hope's Peak Academy stop the real deal, there's no way we'll lose to some fake. If this is really an imitation, are those surveillance cameras the same too? The cameras all over Jabberwock Island. Are they broadcasting to somewhere just like the surveillance cameras during the killing school life? Huh. Man, Hajime, you totally know about that story, huh? But what? Do you have a problem with it? With that? Well, I really wanted you to read the manga version since I took the time to draw it.
What are you gonna do?
Oh well, I'll just raise the flag. Flag? What do you mean raise the flag? What's gonna happen if you do that?
Ooh, how exciting!
One step at a time. You're getting closer to clearing my character route. You're not making sense again.
Well now.
Now then, I'll give you guys my all. I'll tell you everything I know, including information on the outside and the inside.
Yaha!
I'll raise them flags like crazy. Oh boy. I have to talk to Monokuma again? No? Okay, I can just leave. Oh! Huh? It changed to a different hallway again. It's so sudden. What's going on to make something like this happen? No, I've already decided that I'm not going to be surprised. There's no time for me to be surprised by something like this. Oh. Wait. This is 4th floor, right? The secret room was in here, right? Oh! Oh, right, the Tamagotchi. I forgot about her. Honestly, I don't care. Music room is open. I should probably talk to Akane first, though. Ah, there you are. Kane's twitching her nose like a beast and examining her surroundings. Hey, what happened?
Based on my gut feeling.
Well, you know, it's just my gut, but I feel like someone's getting closer. What do you mean by... What do you mean? Who?
So...
I don't know. It's just my gut, after all.
It's just my gut!
Still, her gut is pretty impressive. For some reason, it's strangely intuitive. It's not the only thing that's impressive. What? Monokuma did say something about the main cast coming. It's surprising, but her gut must be correct again this time. Interesting. Right, music room. Where are you? Whoa! Look, an Epitaphs of Twilight here? What the hell? Looks like a music room. I feel like I can see something strange. Ooh, am I getting hungry? Yeah, what do I want for food? Looks like it's some sort of monument. Why would there be a monument in a music room? Not just that. The mark engraved into the monument is the symbol of the Future Foundation, right? Below that symbol, there's a short passage engraved. To combat the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history, the graduates of Hope's Peak Academy were among the many who established the Future Foundation. Huh? The Future Foundation was established by the graduates of Hope's Peak Academy? Aren't they known as World Ender? This is completely different. Monokuma, he completely made it up. That is hurting my eyes to look at as well. This game, I swear to God, can you stop with the... Oh. Ow. What is this? Words are floating in the air. This is like a hologram, right? Floating letters are forming a sentence. It looks like passage from an email. Regarding the report we gave you the other day, we have obtained information. A person who claims to be a survivor of Hope's Peak Academy. Upon further investigation, there are a total of 15 survivors. You may be wondering about the number of people at this time. If they're survivors of Hope's Peak Academy, it's possible they may be targeted by ultimate despair. We believe we should acquire them and place them in our care as soon as possible. Though I don't believe the group can go that far without Junko Enoshima rallying them. In a worst-case scenario, we must prevent a repeat of the killing school life. Also, if they are survivors of Hope's Peak Academy, we should expect them to be quite valuable to us. However, we are still investigating the details of their origins, and we haven't located them either. We will continue investigating this matter. Also, regarding a separate matter, we have received a report from the research facility on Jabberwock Island. Preparations have been completed. It seems we can proceed with the experimental phase of the Neo World program. Program, huh? Survivors of Hope's Peak Academy? 15 students? Is that about us? Excluding Chiaki, who was part of the Future Foundation, there were definitely 15 of us, but what does survivors mean? It's like they're talking from some other world. What happened outside Jabberwock Island? The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history is really true, but then the world isn't normal anymore. Maybe. I'm starting to feel like we might be better off not remembering the memories we've lost. The Academy's Survivors has been added to the Truth Bullet section of your handbook. So that's all the clues in this room. Oh. It's finally confirmed. The Future Foundation is on our side, at least. They were founded by the graduates of Hope's Peak Academy, and they took us in to protect us. But if that's true, Chiaki should have made that clear to us. No. As long as Monokuma was around, he probably couldn't say anything carelessly. Monokuma. If he's the Future Foundation's enemy, then his true identity must be the ultimate despairs who caused the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. The ones who are carrying out the will of Junko Enoshima and making us go through this. Also, this caught my attention in the email too. What's this research facility on Jabberwock Island mentioned in the email? What's that about? The only Future Foundation facility we found was that ancient ruin. There's no way that's the research facility. If there really is a research facility on this island, there should be other Future Foundation members here. Somehow, there are still so many mysteries. So the ship was transporting the survivors to Jabberwock to be placed into the Neo World program? So everything we're going through now has just been a simulation? Boo! Boo! Game's gonna have to do a lot of legwork to not make me hate this idea. Alright, what else opened up? Oh, the office is open now. Teacher's Lounge. Okay. This feels different from a classroom. Maybe it's probably the office, right? I mean, the room kind of has that stuffy teacher vibe to it. The office, huh? Now that you mention it, it does look like that. Not to mention the big office sign outside the door. Well, more importantly, have you seen Miss Sonia? I don't see her anywhere. How much longer is this guy gonna be obsessed with Sonia? Give it up already. Flowers on top of a desk. Plus, they look strange to me. Are my eyes just tired? Oh.
Huh? Are you serious?
There are letters floating in the air, like the music room from earlier. Looks like a passage from an email someone wrote. I think it's the same as the one from earlier. Guess I should read it. We understand this matter regarding the survivors. In order to safely acquire them, please do your best to continue your investigation. However, you must exercise extreme caution concerning the remnants of despair. Even though they have lost Junko Enoshima, the fact remains that they are incredibly dangerous. Even after her death, the tragedy has not ended. Perhaps there is still a leader on par with Junko Enoshima. As long as we do nothing about the remnants of despair, we will not be able to end this incident. For this reason, the remnants of despair must be immediately eliminated once they are discovered. Everything is for the sake of a shining future. Immediately eliminated? Does that mean this is an order to kill them? That doesn't sound peaceful at all. Well, I guess that's understandable. If the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history is as terrible as it sounds, it's pretty much all-out war. If the remnants of despair are the ones waging that war, there's no way they'd be forgiven that easily. Why are our names... Huh? There's something written on the blackboard. How are we hanging in, chat? How are all my lurky turkeys? What's written here? List of subjects is written on the blackboard in large letters. Just below that are names I've seen before. What the? Hold on. Why is she so tall? What the hell? That's well, if that's Saionji, why the what? There's a newspaper posted on the blackboard. Below that, Hiyoko Saionji is written there. What is this newspaper? What is this? It says Miss Hiyoko Saionji. This can't mean the same Hiyoko, right? I mean, the Hiyoko we knew. She was much smaller and looked more childlike. It was pretty much her defining feature. But the photo in this newspaper, in a way, can see the resemblance to Hiyoko, but her height and figure, it's too different from the Hiyoko we knew. What does this mean?
Huh?
This lady looks pretty mature. Is she Hiyoko's older sister or something? No, it says Hiyoko Saionji here. Oh, then Hiyoko has an older sister with the same first and last name. That's not how that works, you moron. Older sister with the same first and last name?
I mean...
That's the only explanation, right? I mean, look at it for yourself. That's not Hiyoko. But did you ever hear her mention an older sister?
Man...
Well, it's not like I was that close to her or anything.
Wrong.
She doesn't have an older sister. Hiyoko is the Saionji family's only daughter. She doesn't have a sister, then a relative? No, there's still too much of a resemblance.
What are you saying?
That's Hiyoko. Huh?
Of course not!
What are you saying? Hiyoko doesn't have a curvy body like this. Kazuichi, I just want to strangle you. I mean, she was famous for a childlike figure. She got away with all kinds of crap for looking like that.
Well...
I don't know what to tell you. Maybe she had a growth spurt. What are you saying? She's already dead. There's no way she could have had a growth spurt.
Today, I'm feeling white.
Well, regardless, all the clues I've provided are true. If they weren't, it wouldn't be fair.
What's going on?
What the heck? This is the truth? This is the truth. Then the Hiyoko in this newspaper. Is he really saying this is the same person? But that's impossible. I mean, how can there be a photo of a grown-up Hiyoko when she's already dead? Why does this even exist?
Hey!
Could it be related to that list of subjects over there?
This is bad.
If it says subjects, maybe it means there was some kind of experiment, right? Did that experiment change Hiyoko's body? Oh wait, what am I saying? Just saying it out loud makes it sound messed up. What experiment? If it was some kind of experiment, it would mean we're also test subjects, right? I mean, our names are also written on the blackboard under that list of subjects. What kind of experiment was it?
What's going on?
It better not have anything to do with time travel. An extremely overwhelming portrait is hanging on the wall. I feel like I've seen it before. But the name etched into that placard says... Yeah, I knew that name was familiar. We've seen this in the Funhouse, right? Hope's Peak Academy founder, Izuru Kamukura? I wonder if Hope's Peak Academy. And this name... Izuru Kamukura. Doesn't this clearly contradict the information I obtained earlier? Another mystery. The Academy's founder has been added to your handbook. Okay. With this, you've totally raised all the flags on this floor. Congratulations, Hajime. You shall now go on to the next stage. Next stage? So the floor is the hallway's gonna change again when we leave, huh?